Okay, welcome to the warm-up portion of this video. We're going to start with your normal length training baston, and the reason being you should be familiar with this length tool, so it's a good place to start. The variables are going to come when you start changing into other weapon lengths. So the way to measure the length of a baston in Pekiti-Tirsia training is armpit to fingertip, and then you're going to hold it one hand from the bottom. So you have a pommel end here as a counterbalance. On this 32-inch long rattan, this would yield a, let's say a shaft length, or if I was holding a sword, a blade length of 24 inches. And then you're going to go in, and when we go into swords, practice swords, you're going to make the adjustments for your body size based on your training rattan. So I want you to go and extend your target. I'm using Bob here. It's nice to show anatomy. Use a tire stack, whatever your heavy bag, whatever your normal training tool is. I would not hit Bob, if you do have a Bob, with wooden sticks or aluminum swords or anything like that. It's really not meant to take that kind of abuse. It's meant to deal with empty hand training, and the skin here won't last very long if you hit it with training tools of sticks or fake swords. So anyway, get extension here. You want to be, the blade that can stand out past your shoulder, straight out from your shoulder, and the most forward part of the target, touching that. Get on guard. I want just a regular high boxer guard here is fine. What I want you to do is step off to the right enough so you can go and get the left side of the collarbone on a anatomical target like a Bob bag. You can see this easily. If you have a tire stack, just hitting the side, when I say the side of the body, the collarbone, hit the side of your training target, whatever that training target is, heavy bag or tire stack. So one, give a forehand on the side, left side of his body, and then two, go into the face or the collarbone area of your target. And then I want you to flow through that two and stretch out and touch with your fist. You don't have to hit this hard. You're going to have a dagger here later, but the distance I'm looking for is about 90% of extension. You don't want to lock your elbow. So about 90% extension here and get to your target. Notice I'm wearing a glove on this hand. Professional boxers wear bad gloves. I want something covering the skin so you don't get your skin with a friction burn and a rip and getting bacteria in your skin, slows down your training. So again, get it full extension. While the training weapons are going to change in this video, your leg length is going to remain the same, so that's going to be your variable, is adjusting for the blade length. So 1, 2, 3, and just get that to 90% length. Don't forget later on we're going to have a plastic dagger, a polymer dagger in this hand, but I want you to get that extension so you go no more than 90 degrees extension. Don't straighten it out, you can hurt your elbow that way. So spin this around, let me see it from the other side. Get your extension, measure your extension. 1, 2, 3. And if you want, you can turn around and get a horizontal to close up, so you're getting your 90-degree turn, which is a good habit to get into. So here I am using a trainer for Pekiti-Tirsia long sword. This is a Rawlings, I believe, Scottish basket hilt claymore broadsword blade, which I trimmed down. This blade is 1 cubit, one of my cubits in length. For me, that's elbow to fingertip is a cubit, and for me that's 20 inches. And then you add to that the double-edged portion of the front with the clip, which is 8 inches for me, which is the length of my hand. And this is, the blade is based on a punute, a Visayan weapon in the Philippines. I'll put in some photos of what a punute blade looks like. And then Leo's grandfather, Conrado, liked the bell guard on a naval cutlass. And I'll put some photos of that in as well. So, again, get your extension straight out from the shoulder, that's the longest reach. And then come up, cut the collarbone. You can't see it here, it's on that side, but I'm hitting in the area just inside or lower down than the part where the double edge ends, the clip ends, and about the width of my hand, that is your point of percussion or the highest impact point with a sword. So even though this is a 28-inch blade, I'm hitting about the 20 to 18-inch mark to have maximum power in the cut. So again, you're here, forehand, backhand. This is long enough I can get the collarbone on the side, which would destroy his right hand use. And then I come up and I just touch with my fist at that 90% bend. It's not at full extension. I'm gonna have a dagger in this later. I don't want to hyperextend my elbow, but I say, yes, I can reach my arm out to 90% extension without taking an additional step at this point. So, again, get your extension. 1, 2, 3. And then from here, if you'd like, remove the head and get some kind of turn so you're checking your back trail. Okay, for set 2 material, I chose to use a training practice sword that's the blade length of a 19th century military saber. There's a 32-inch blade. And the reason for that is the Filipino constabulary in the 17th and 19th centuries were a group who were essentially the local police force or militia, working under the Spanish to keep control and keep order as a police force, and also to help protect the areas, supports from attack by the Moros in the south. And their officers would sometimes have Spanish military weapons of a full length. This is a similar size to a Spanish military or European military saber of that time period in blade length. Handle's not, but I'm worried about blade length here. And the reason I chose something this long, and this is a 32-inch blade, this is the same length as my whole training Baston. The reason I did that is in second set of Pekiti-Tirsia Espada y Daga work, there's a lot of techniques that really lend themselves to a long blade. Anytime you're going and you're spinning around, it helps to have a long blade to keep that guy away from you. You want the biggest bubble as possible, a bigger force field as possible. And then there's some things like, when you're scooping, or cutting his leg and scooping his weapon arm or the weapon out of the way, having that long lever of a long blade does help. So I chose a very long blade for the second set material. So, same idea here, get a full extension, come in, cut one collarbone, cut the other collarbone, get a long blade, so you can do that, and then think about what extension, what footwork do you need to do, a little bit of a shuffle step here, to get that backhand thrust or punch in. So, again, measure, 1, 2, and that's going to be done really as one long step. You're going to go 1, 2, and land at the point where you need to be for that thrust, and then you can do a cut and get on guard from there if you'd like, just to get the practice of checking your back trail. So that's a little piece for set 2. So in set 3, we're using a Pekiti-Tirsia short sword, say that 3 times fast, which has a blade length of 1 cubit. For my length arm, that's 20 inches. And we're having the dagger in ice pick grip. So, do your regular measurement, right? And you're hitting with the last, let's say, hand width. So on a 20-inch blade, that gives me, that would give me, say the last 4 inches of where you have the most power. Physicists call this the point of percussion or the center of percussion. And the idea is you have this narrow blade that goes out to wide at the end, and that gives you the most bite at the blade length you have. This is a short sword, so let's put the most bite way out at the end, right? Okay, so there's your extension. You come in 1, 2, right? And this one is going to be more to the face because you have a short sword. And then your punch, instead of being a straight punch or a cross, I want you to do a hammer fist. So I'm aiming for the temple with a hammer fist here, the bottom of the fist here. I'm still only having that 90% extension because I don't want to jerk my wrist or probably jerk my elbow, hyperextend my elbow. You can snap it very easily if it goes, out to full straight. So you go no more than 90% extension. If you have a 4 or 5 inch dagger in your hand, that means to get to 90% extension, the blade is buried in the guide. So, you have good penetration there. So again, so you're here, 1, 2, and then 3, 90% extension on your hammer fist. And then again, you can finish up with a forehand, so you get a bit of a turn, you can check your back trail. And that's that technique for set 3.